Hey, what's up guys? Travis Fulton here and welcome to Online Gainz. Each week, I'm gonna be sharing with you real insight on how I'm developing players all across the world on full swing, short game, and putting. Be sure to tune in. All right, hey Dallas, Travis here. Thanks for the videos. Going to get you an analysis here and then a game plan. And I know you're a good baseball player and looking to get into golf, and you got a lot of good stuff happening. The first thing that I'm going to attach to this video is, as far as the game plan, is going to be a grip video. Your grip, I think, is pretty close to a neutral grip, meaning like the V that you form between your thumb and your first finger points kind of right ear, maybe slightly towards the right shoulder. But I think I want to make sure it's in the right part of your fingers, and I'm going to encourage you to connect your hands by either interlocking or overlapping. Now, I've got a very detailed video that I want you to watch, and you're gonna see me walk through basically a weak, neutral, and strong grip. I want you to keep it about neutral, which is about where you have it, but I want you to make sure that it's in the right part of your fingers and you're either interlocking or overlapping. So that's number one. Number two is I'm gonna bump your hips just slightly to the left, okay? At address, you want your spine to tilt slightly and just have the hips bump slightly to the left at address. Your feet look good, ball position looks good, everything, I think, other than that, it's in a very good spot. Now, in the swing, when you watch your body turn, you're gonna see a little bit of a sway. You're gonna see your right hip kind of kick up a little bit and work a little too much out that way. And what I'm going to encourage is for your hip to work a little bit more kind of around this way. So basically, you don't want your right hip to slide laterally. You want it to turn. And so we'll clean that up, which is going to help to do a very good job of shifting your weight back to your lead foot. And then you do a good job of leaning the shaft forward. So I think some of your athleticism from baseball and learning, to kind of shift left and turn, you do a good job of rotating and getting yourself to face the target. So that's very good. So I think the opportunity here from the face-on view is going to be in that right hip and making sure that hip doesn't get too high and too lateral, but rather turning a little bit more back behind you. Now let's keep that in mind and go to the other view. All right, so good stuff with the swing, and I think this is going to help you a lot kind of get started before you come here to the studio. Watch the grip video, watch the ball position video, and then from there, what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you get a little bit of side bend as well. Okay, so the spine tilts a little to the right, the hip goes just gently to the left, and then that gets you positioned behind the ball. Now, in your backswing, your hip, when you turn, is kicking out this way. So the hip is moving a little too lateral, and I want the hip to turn more back behind you. Okay, so let this hip feel like it kind of works more back behind you this way and less this way. Okay, and when you do that, you'll feel your left knee wanting to point a little bit more behind the ball. Now, as you do that, that doesn't mean that you just let the club head kind of work in here like this. You do a good job of keeping the club head, a little bit out in front of you like this. So, let the club kind of start more here as you're turning that hip, and then from there it'll want to work around you. Okay, so don't turn the hip and then just kind of suck the club head inside with it. And I think as long as you're managing that with the hip, you'll be in good shape. Now, the second thing is I would stop at 3/4. Okay, so I would feel the club head, out in front of you, right hip's turning, and then what feels like my hands stop about 3/4, about shoulder height over here, and not letting it kind of wrap around so much this way. You're a big, strong kid. You're gonna create a lot of speed, especially with this hip, so we don't wanna overswing this thing too much, all right? So again, right hip turning back, behind, not lateral, managing the club head with it early on to 3/4. Now, that's the most important thing. Get that down before you get here. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start working on, from there, this club starting to come more back down in here like this. Okay, so it's gonna feel a little less maybe out this way, and let's say exiting to the left, we're gonna feel like it's a little more this way and exiting a little bit more, let's say, down the line, or maybe even a little bit out towards right field. Okay, one of the things that I'll do with players is I'll do a little bit of a low to high drill with them. That gives them the sense of what it feels like to swing a little more from the inside. And the low to high means that you just set up and you get your tilt, hip left, put the club down on the ground, and then you just kind of swing the club low and then up to high. All right, so if I was to do that from the target line, you'll see me start low and then drag it and then kind of work it back up to high. And you're probably a little bit too much, say, out here, high, and then across the body to low. And we want to feel a little more like here, low, and then back up around to high. Almost feels like a little bit of an overhand in tennis. And that gives you the sense that you're going to hit a little more out to the right, which then would produce a little more of a kind of a push draw. I would start a little right and draw. And that's kind of where I want to take you. But I want to make sure that A, your grip's connected and clean, B, you got the right ball position, C, you're tilted, and then in the swing, we're just kind of cleaning up that hip to 3/4. So get that down. If you feel good with that, then maybe create a little low to high, feel like you're gonna hit it a little more, say, to right field, and see if we can get this little push draw working. And then we're gonna build on that when you come to the studio. Good stuff.